The universe is very difficult to understand, obviously. But what if I told you that there's an encyclopedia made to help you understand the universe inside and out, and then hopefully escape it? That's exactly what the Epistles written by the Ikhwan al-Safa is. Now, this group exists in a lot of mystery. About 10th century in what is today Basra in Iraq, this group operated anonymously, creating a series of texts that would transform Islamic and non-Islamic knowledge as we know it. Well, what exactly did they do? They wrote 52 epistles covering a full system of knowledge, and in addition, a summary to their books, which kind of organizes them together. This is essentially an encyclopedia of the universe, spiritual, material, mathematic, and beyond. There are 4 major sections within these epistles: mathematical sciences, natural sciences, psychological and intellectual series, and theology and metaphysics. There's a lot of stories involved as well. Some you may be familiar with, such as the story of the ant and the pen, or the story of the humans and animals debating with the king of jinns. Now, there's a big idea to this. They wanted to create a unity of knowledge. All knowledge is somehow interconnected. If you understand math, then you can understand science. If you understand science, you can understand emotion. If you understand emotion, you can understand human concepts. Everything is connected in one way or another. My background was in art, and I didn't realize just how much science is involved in art. I thought I would just be drawing and painting, but a lot of geometry, a lot of proportions and mixing of pigments and chemicals, and trying to understand how one thing reacts to another, color theory, it was all over the place. So essentially, their claim is that there is knowledge of some things within everything. So they're trying to code it together. Now, this is the philosophical backbone. They want to understand that truth comes from harmonizing reason, revelation, philosophy, and religion. Now, this was a Muslim group that most people believe, to a certain degree, were Shi'a Ismaili Muslims. Now, to what degree that is valid, we don't know, because we don't know exactly who they were. But we can see from their works that they're operating in a context of some sort of intellectual Islam, some sort of Shia basis, and perhaps a hint at a belief in a present living Imam at their time, which put them into the category of being Ismaili. They also draw from Greek figures such as Pythagoras, Plato, and Aristotle. A lot of Islamic theology comes from the synthesis of these Greek philosophers done in the translation movement. And they also obviously incorporate many concepts from the Quran. And they are creating this harmonization of logical sciences and religious concepts together. Their spiritual goal is the purification of the soul. Knowledge is not just academic. Everywhere we look, we can engage with the creation of God. We can understand God a little bit better by understanding the world in which we live and understanding ourselves. They want us to transform our souls. Their aim is to return to the divine through intellectual and ethical refinement. They have a strong emphasis on brotherhood, ethics, and self-discipline, something that a lot of us are lacking today in the world, 2026, thousands of years after them. Now, this is really key because they open every chapter and almost every new idea with this line that really calls to you. They say, "Wake up, brother. You've been asleep for so long. You've been rolling around in your ignorance of slumber. This whole world is an illusion and you must escape." Well, then why all the mathematics and sciences and theologies and intellectual bits? Why not just sit and meditate all day and escape? Well, their claim is that if you don't understand how your illusion works, how can you decide to escape it? You must know the system in which you exist in order to move beyond it, which is a pretty powerful thing to say. Now, their view of the universe. They give a glimpse of their worldview, and it's kind of like a microcosm, macrocosm situation. The universe is harmonious, mathematical, and there's a strong influence of numerology and symbolism across the universe. And humans are a microcosm of the universe. We see this in science today, confirming this idea that our neural networks are similar to nebulas, Our bones and bodies are made of carbon, which comes from exploded star materials, and the list goes on. We are a tiny universe within a larger one that can be infinite in one way or another. Their social and political vision is often overlooked but pretty powerful. They advocated for a just and ethical society. They believed in intellectual elites guiding society, and they were a quiet reformist group trying to operate in the Abbasid Caliphate, possibly under a lot of persecution for their beliefs in Islam. Now, they are creating something that outlasts them, and at the time is revolutionary, and even today holds a lot of power in helping us understand what kind of society we wish to live in and what kind of people we wish to be within society. Why do they matter today? Although they existed over 1,000 years ago, a lot of their ideas still work in our world today, and they're drawing upon classical sciences and things that are universal. Although terms and theories may have changed in our understanding of the world, they didn't have Einstein, but we still have a baseline fundamental of trying to understand how the world works. They have interdisciplinary thinking, they have science and spiritual dialogue, they have pluralism and intellectual openness, and they have a global philosophy mindset, trying to align humans back onto the path to their creator, trying to understand that through ethics and action and contemplation, you can become one with the universe. You can reunite with your divinity and your true purpose as to be this living incarnation of God's action put into the world. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of mystery that surrounds this group, and I want to explore just a little bit about them before we hop into their 52 epistles. Their epistles are published by the Institute of Ismaili Studies, located in London, United Kingdom. These epistles are available in their library and also for purchase in their website. However, not all of them are always in stock, so it is hard to come by all of them. I personally don't have all of them yet, but I'm on the hunt to get them, and where I cannot afford to get them, I will try to check them out from a library in my vicinity. With that being said, let's explore a little bit about them. The Ikhwan al-Safa, or the Brethren of Purity, were anonymous members of a 10th century esoteric fraternity. They operated mostly in the southern Iraqi city of Basra, with some outposts in the capital Abbasid city of Baghdad. Their secretive group created what is known today as the Epistles of the Brethren of Purity. The exact dating of this textbook is unknown because we do not have all the information that surrounds them. But there is an inkling to understand that the Brotherhood was active in the beginning of the Fatimid conquest of Egypt, circa 969, while others identify the organization with an earlier period set chronologically around the foundation of the Fatimid dynasty in Africa in 909. The most common account regarding the presumed identity of some of Ikhwan al-Safa's members comes from the Book of Pleasure and Conviviality written by Abu Hayyan al-Tawhidi, where he notes that Abu Sulaiman Muhammad Mashar al-Busti, or al-Maqdisi, the Qadi Abu al-Hassan Ali Harun al-Zanjani, Abu Ahmad al-Mihrajani, or Ahmad al-Narajuri, and Abu al-Hassan al-Awfi, who were members of this obscure group. Abu Hayyan also claimed that they were senior companions of a secretarial office at the Buyid Regional Chancellery of Basra, known as Zayd b Rifa, who was reportedly an affiliate of the Brethren's fraternity and a servant of its ministry. Now, even though the story is reaffirmed by several classical historians in Islamic civilization, it's not fully accepted by scholars in the terms of its authenticity. Furthermore, a lot of Ismaili missionaries historically attribute the compiling of the epistles to early Ismaili imams, such as Hazrat Ahmad al-Mustansir alayhi salam, or his father, Hazrat Abdullah Wafi Ahmad alayhi salam, while also suggesting that the epistle compendium was secretly disseminated in mosques during the reign of the Abbasid Caliph al-Mamun in circa 813 to 833. The Ikhwan had a hope that attainment of happiness could develop from rational pursuits alongside theological quests. In their time, a lot of people were only focused on Quran and Hadith. The Brethren looked to the appeal of the Torah of Judaism, the Gospels of Christianity, moreover, the legacies of the Stoics and of Pythagoras, Hermes, Trismegistus, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Plotinus, Nicomachus, and Gerasa, Euclid, Ptolemy, Galen, Proclus, Porphyry, and Iamblichus. Try saying that 5 times. The brethren promoted a convivial and earnest companionship of virtue. Their eschatological outlook was articulated by way of an intricate cyclical view of sacred history that is complete with symbolisms and oriented by any uncanny hermeneutic interpretation of the microcosm and macrocosm analogy. Believing that the human being is a microcosm and that the universe is a macroanthropos. The multiplicity of the voices that were expressed in their epistles reflects a genuine quest for wisdom, driven by an impetus that is not reducible to a mere eclecticism. Indeed, their syncretism grounded their aspiration to establish a spiritual refuge that would transcend the sectarian divisions troubling their area. In general, 52 epistles are enumerated as belonging to the Ikhwan al-Safa. And these are divided into the following 4 parts: mathematics, natural philosophy, sciences of the soul and intellect, and theology. The first part consists of 14 epistles, and it deals with the mathematical sciences, treating a variety of topics in arithmetic, geometry, astronomy, geography, and music. It also includes 5 epistles on elementary logic, which consists of the following: the isogoge, the categories, on the interpretation, the prior analytics, and the posterior analytics. The second part of the corpus groups together 17 epistles on the physical or natural sciences. It thus treats them on matters and form, generation and corruption, metallurgy, meteorology, a study of the essence of nature, the classes of plants and animals, the composition of the human body and its embryological constitution, a cosmic grasp of the human being as a microcosm, and also the investigation of the phonetic and structural properties of languages and their differences. The third part of the compendium comprises 10 tracts on the physical. The third part of the compendium comprises 10 tracts on the physical and intellective sciences, setting forth the opinions of the Pythagoreans and of the Brethren of Purity, and accounting also for the world as a macroanthropos. In this part, the Brethren also examined the distinction between the intellectual and the intelligible. They offered explications of the symbolic significance of temporal dimensions, epical cycles, and the mystical expression of the essence of love, together with an investigation of resurrection, causes and effect, definitions and descriptions, and various types of motion. The fourth and last part of the epistles deal with the more gnomic or legal and theological sciences. In 11 epistles, these address the differences between varieties of religious opinions and sects, as well as delineating the pathway to God, the virtues of the Ikhwan's fellowship and characteristics of genuine believers, the nature of the divine namas, the call to God, the actions of spiritualists, of jinn, angels, and demons, and specific politics, the cosmic hierarchy, and finally, the essence of magic and talismanic incantations. Besides the 52 tracts that constitute the epistles, this compendium was accompanied by a treatise entitled the Comprehensive Epistle, which acted as the sum and decoder for the whole corpus, and was itself supplemented by further abridged appendage known as the Condensed Comprehensive Epistle. Now, with that little bit of introduction, where do we see ourselves next? I will be trying to explore each epistle and noting down my thoughts and understandings of what they're trying to say, and also sharing it with you all. We can look at specific highlighted text together and try to better understand what their goal was. Now, I encourage everyone to find a copy, and even if it's not in order, try to get their hands on it and explore some of their concepts and ideas. But where there is things of interest, we'll point them out and explore together. And when there are things that provoke our curiosity, we can take a look at them as well. Join me in the next video as I explore the first set of epistles on arithmetic and geometry. That being said, I appreciate you taking your time to watch this video. If you want to see more, please consider liking and subscribing, leaving a comment down below. And as we explore this series, we will try to escape the matrix together. Thank you all. I hope you have a blessed day. And as always, Alhamdulillah, praise be to God.